everybody, welcome to the Daikin Texas Technology Park in Waller, Texas. I'm Art Edmonds, and since you can't come to our factory today, I'm bringing the factory to you, and joining us first is Chad Callahan. Great to see you, Chad.
Good to see you, Art.
Tell us some fast facts about the facility.
Well, the DTTP is 4.3 million square feet. A building that size is going to give you a perimeter of about 2 miles.
Well, I'm wearing my walking shoes, and we're going to get our steps in today for sure.
We're going to get our steps in.
How many people work here?
Right now, we have about 10,000 people that are currently working at the Daikin Texas Technology Park.
Now, I'd imagine it's a massive investment for Daikin.
It is $500 million investment, the largest investment in our company's history, which is almost 100 years.
Not only is Daikin here, you've also got Goodman and Amana all housed under the same roof.
All three brands manufactured, produced right here in Waller, Texas.
Amazing. So who should I see first?
Well, why don't we start at the top? We'll go see Jeff Durham, Senior Vice President of Manufacturing.
All right, you heard him. Starting at the top. Let's go, guys. Well, guys, very excited to start the tour off right here with Jeff Durham, Senior Vice President of Manufacturing for Daikin. And I'll tell you what, Jeff, this is really where it all starts and works its way throughout this massive building here. Tell us about yourself first. How long have you been with Daikin?
First of all, we welcome, Art. We're happy to have you here. We're happy to welcome you into these are the manufacturing offices where the orchestration of the work that takes place in this factory.
Sort of the command center.
This is sort of the command center, exactly. I started with Daikin in September of 2018. This has been a great experience for me, and we've got a great team.
And how do you and your team address challenges? Business is always changing. Operations are always having to be adjusted. How do you guys adapt and overcome to all different types of situations in manufacturing?
Well, regardless of the challenge, the very first thing that we say is that we're a team, and we're going to work on this together as a team. Mm-hmm. And as a team, we'll be successful, or as a team, we may meet other challenges and have to stop, regroup, maybe course correct. But as a team, we approach challenges head on. So we start with that.
Well, that's a good place to start. And I was going to say, you have to have a sense of pride coming in here to work with such a great group of people and implement a game plan and change it when necessary.
Without question. If you looked at our mission, vision, goals, and those principles that guide us, one of the things you'll read in there is that we respect every individual as an individual, but we work as a team. So you have to respect the individual first before you can even consider whether or not the team is cohesive and whether or not the team is actually working together in a very good way. So you're right, we have to put the team first. We have to put the business priorities right behind that. And then if we feel like that if we address those two things, then the challenges that come our way we'll be able to address.
Well, you do address a lot of challenges and a lot of questions. Obviously, our dealers and everyone who takes this tour, either virtually or in the past in person, and in the future in person, they want to know what's going on in manufacturing. Where do you see Daikin's vision going in the future?
Well, it starts with our vision as a company. And our vision as a company is to be number one in North America. We are 100% aligned with that vision. In fact, if you were to ask me why I came here, that was the very first thing that attracted me to Daikin was they have this great vision for this big, beautiful factory for North America. So we have to get alignment around the vision. I would say the next thing would be that we have to have a very specific purpose. And our purpose for us is to deliver on the commitments that we make. Whether those are commitments made to deliver product, whether those are commitments to develop people, or those are commitments to build a new culture. Those are things that we hold pretty close to our vest. We absolutely have to deliver on those.
In such a competitive industrial arena in manufacturing, how do you see Daikin rising above others that are trying to attain the same level of success that you have?
Okay, so let's talk, those are the soft side of manufacturing. Let's get to the real hard side of manufacturing, and it begins with manufacturing technology. This plant, as you will see, is chock full of the latest and greatest technology. And that was also the second thing that encouraged me to come here, was just the infrastructure that had been invested in by DIL in this factory. Just a few examples. We have a team here that is working very hard on the digitization of our factory. Digitization takes on a lot of different forms, but for us specifically, I would mention our manufacturing execution system, which is about harnessing the data from the factory and using that data to help us make decisions. I would also mention the systems that we've created to help our employees not only communicate with one another, the brand new First Up app, Fusion First Up app, that is our own internal social media app that allows us to communicate effectively with all 7,500 of our manufacturing employees. In addition to that, we've put the technology in the hands of our supervisors with access to these systems that help them manage their team. We continue to invest in automation. On the tour, you'll see several examples of the automation that we've invested in. So I would say the manufacturing technology, the infrastructure that we've invested in here and continue to invest in here is what will separate us from those who we compete with.
And, you know, obviously out in the field, those that sell and service your product, you get a lot of feedback from them. They want to be heard, right? So how do you take their suggestions and put them into practical application?
Candidly, we take that information back through our service and warranty organization, and that feeds manufacturing. So we take that information and we either address the problems specifically that they have, or separately we take an aggregate of all of those problems and we work on improvements through our process to avoid having those problems in the future. And our organization, through our quality organization in manufacturing, is where that information funnels and then gets disseminated to the right people. But we definitely do take action on issues that surface from the field. And we absolutely don't want our customers to be dissatisfied in any way, shape, form, or fashion with our product.
And Jeff, before we let you go, the future of Daikin, the future of the industry, big changes afoot or small incremental changes?
Our strategy is still around creating a work environment where people want to come to work. We want to be known as the employer of choice in this area. We're going to continue to invest in the technology that makes us and keeps us separated from our competition. Automation specifically, and the manufacturing execution system, building upon that, as I mentioned before. We're going to continue to invest in improving the quality of our product. We're going to continue to invest in improving productivity in this factory. And we're going to continue to invest in the development of our people. That in and of itself is what we, as leaders on this floor, are driving towards in this factory to help us achieve our vision, to be number one.
Well, that is certainly an impressive and in-depth view inside manufacturing, and I'm sure we all appreciate it. And you spoke a lot about your people and your investment in your people. I want to get out there, walk around this beautiful building, and meet some of those people.
Well, we welcome you to do so, and we'd love to have you here. We're very happy that you're here, and we want to show you exactly what we do. That's the fun part of the job, is showing off what this team can do.
Sounds good. Let's go have a little fun, and let's continue the tour. Well, guys, what a great place to start our tour with Michael Kubiak, Senior Director of Operational Excellence. Michael, it is excellent to be starting our tour where safety comes first, literally.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you could spend some time with us today at the Knowledge Development Center. Safety is always number one in our minds and hearts, because if our employees are not safe, there's no point in even making one unit down in manufacturing.
Too many moving parts, too many people interacting with machines and each other. You all have to know your place and know your proper procedures, and that's where it all starts right here.
Even our new employees coming in through several days of intense training, one of the first things they get is safety training, and they have to spend several hours in our safety dojo learning specific risks and how to stay safe.
Well, that's obviously the most important thing. And the next important thing when it comes to manufacturing here at Daikin, brazing is super important, isn't it?
Absolutely. Brazing, we realized early on, was one of our core competencies from a skill standpoint, and we've been developing that over the years.
And you have a specific dojo dedicated to brazing. I want to see it and I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, we have 3 dojos dedicated to brazing, and I'll be happy to show you them right now.
Let's go.
All right.
Michael, great place to be. As the brazing is happening behind us, you get to see firsthand the process that's involved in training to become a brazer.
When our new people come in as a direct hire or go through our training for the first 2 days, they learn basic skills, but when they go to the manufacturing floor, they have a lot of opportunities to go into different career paths. Brazing is one of those, and we realized early on how much of a core competency it was for us. We've been developing that over the years, and now you can see in the background here, we have people that are learning that skill for the first time. They're going through 5 days of very intense, solid training. And when they get done with this training, they're still not certified yet. They have to go to the manufacturing floor and be observed by a trainer that they can still braze effectively with high quality in the application that they're currently working.
Yeah, they've got to be in the thick of it, in the environment, on the line. And then beyond that, there's great opportunities for employees to advance to all sorts of skill levels in brazing.
This is just the first level. After they get signed off from all this training, they become a skilled brazier, but then they can go to mastered, proficient, advanced. If they keep working hard, they can become a lead brazier, which has responsibility for about 20 different braziers across the manufacturing area. And from there, they can go into the training ranks. So they can start out as an approved trainer, a local trainer, a regional trainer, a global trainer. And if they keep going up, they can eventually be a meister in the brazing skill.
Amazing. And then the yin and yang balance of the braziers and the leak testing and run testing, they keep an eye on the braziers to make sure that they're doing their job right. Tell us about the detection department.
Just like the braziers strive to make absolutely no leak with the joints that they braze, the leak testers strive to find every leak they can. So the two go hand in hand. And we have a training program specifically for leak testers and run testers as well.
And the run testing happens on the line where the actual unit is put through its paces before it gets boxed up and shipped out to the consumer.
That's one of the ways we make sure that the unit is fully functional, it's completely powered up, and it goes through all the functionality to make sure everything's working before we ship the unit out.
Well, all of those skills and all of that competition leads to a better product when a customer receives that Daikin unit. And a very important part of the process, and never an afterthought, is maintenance. Can we go talk about that?
Absolutely, let's go, I'll show you.
Well, Michael, this is super cool. Robots and maintenance. How does all that come together?
Yeah, so if you look at the latest technology coming out, robots are everywhere. And of course, from Daikin, we're always looking at the latest and highest technology. So we have to teach even our maintenance teams about robots on how to maintain them, how to program them. So it's very integral into what we do here.
And you don't have to feed them, so that's a good thing, right?
A little electricity helps every now and then. One of the things that we've done here is we teach electronics and we teach mechanics in the maintenance dojo. So it's two paths, but they're very interrelated as they learn and teach, as we teach skills.
So who would specifically come to the maintenance dojo to learn and upgrade their skills?
Maintenance leaders, specifically maintenance technicians and maintenance supervisors, the maintenance crew itself on the manufacturing floor come in here on a weekly basis. We have a set schedule and they go through different specific types of training, and we evaluate them to see where their strengths and weaknesses are so we can focus the training specifically on areas that they're weak and we can make them stronger.
Excellent. Well, speaking of excellence, operational excellence, Michael, thank you for this amazing part of the tour. There's more tour that I'm going to discover. Come with me. Well, a great finished product is only as great as the parts that go into it, which is why we have Mike Kaiser, Vice President of Materials and Fabrication. We're talking about the raw materials, and we're talking about parts that come into the factory to feed that assembly line. It's a very important part of the process, and you're overseeing all of it.
Yeah, that's right. I'm overseeing both the fabrication. It's kind of unique in the fact that I get to see not only do we make the parts on time internally in the fabrication shops,
Right.
but we're also responsible for making sure we get all our purchase parts here on time from a whole variety of suppliers. We have some 156 suppliers and with 16,000 different purchase parts that we have to manage, along with about 9,000 make parts that we have to manage each and every day.
So you've got a lot to keep track of, right? I'm looking at all of this copper tubing. That's got to come in as raw material. Tons and tons of raw material, right?
Absolutely. I'll give you an example. In this facility alone, we use some 650,000 pounds of steel each and every day to make those components we need to keep the assembly lines running.
And you also talk about bringing in manufactured parts from outside vendors. How do you coordinate all of those vendors, over 150 of them?
Yeah, you can imagine it's quite complicated, right, to get everything to come together through our systems and arrive here just in time for the assembly lines to need and to get them through the facility. It's really quite complicated, but we have some really great people and some really good processes in place to make that come together every single day.
So we talked about materials. Now let's talk about the fabrication. You're actually making and shaping tubing and all different parts here. How much work is involved in that?
Oh, a tremendous amount of work and tons of people, right? We have about 1,500 people in our fabrication shops, and we have some really great leaders and people working on those processes. But we do things like copper tubing, we stamp, We have injection molding. We have aluminum and copper fabrication. So it's quite complicated again, and the teams do a great job of managing that complexity every day to make sure it all comes together on the assembly line so we can make the greatest products.
Well, people and technology coming together. That's our next stop to find out how people and technology work to make Daikin great. Well, technology is such a huge part of our everyday lives. It's no different here at the DTTP. And overseeing all of that technology is Vice President of Production Engineering, Travis Lane. Travis, how do you manage technology, humans, this massive facility? How does it all come together to make a great product?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the key responsibilities of my team is finding that new technology that we can incorporate to make people's work life easier, as well as incorporating automation. We incorporate automation mainly in those key roles where it's ergonomically unsound to maybe it's a heavy lift or an awkward lift. And then we're also taking automation into further into assembly where we have a lot of operators kind of bunched together doing repetitious processes, and we're working to automate those.
Well, and again, you're not looking to replace people, you're looking to enhance people with technology, right? And you can run this 24/7 with all of the automation here.
That's exactly right. You know, with automation, it's kind of a misnomer that, oh no, they're going to automate my job and I'm going to lose my job. That's not the case at all. We've got plenty of job opportunities in this factory. It's a rather large factory, right? So all the fabrication pretty much runs 24/7. Assembly runs pretty much around the clock. There's some dead areas in there, but it's pretty much 24/7 operation.
So with technology ever advancing, ever evolving, every few months, every few years, how do you keep up with it?
Yeah, so I've got part of my team is responsible for finding that new technology. A lot of times we partner with vendors. We have some vendors that we work very closely with to identify those opportunities. Sometimes it's just an engineer working on the floor and he's like, I can do this better with technology, and they'll take that idea and we'll partner with the vendor and we'll automate it.
Well, Travis, with all of the challenges that come along with advancing technology, there's also a huge opportunity, isn't there?
That's right. A lot of opportunities within fabrication. You can see that we're very vertically integrated, so we make a lot of our own parts here. And there's a lot of challenges that come with knowing where those parts are at and the right quantities and getting all those parts to the assembly line for final assembly.
And speaking of final assembly, all those amazing parts and all those amazing pieces come together to make one amazing Daikin unit, and that's what we're going to find out next in assembly. Well, guys, a super exciting and super important part of our tour stop here is in assembly, and to tell us all about it is Raul Rinken. You are the Vice President of Assembly, and I'll tell you what, some would say this is the most important stop on the tour. I'm sure you feel that way.
Yeah, most of people will say that this is the most important portion of your tour because this is where we put everything together. It becomes a unit that is going to go and be shipped by a customer. So that's the most important part of our process.
So everybody's job up until this point, assembling the individual components, this is where all of that comes together into one unit, like you said, and you guys have a massive operation here. 25 assembly lines, all in one section.
Yeah, 25 assembly lines and very different lines because we have combined different factories that we had in the past under one roof. So we have lines that are very complex, very low number of units that we produce every day, next to lines that produce a massive amount of units every day, less complex, so different markets, different customers, different regions, everything under one roof, different strategies, but coming together in a very organized fashion.
And you're overseeing that as well as a tremendous number of personnel and automated robotic vehicles bringing all of the unit components together into this section.
Yeah, that's a very important portion of our process. So we prepare our material in our kitting area and everything is prepared for our operators in order to be assembled at the best possible way, and then it's delivered to our assembly lines by automated gated vehicles. And that's a technology that we have here in Daikin that we developed in order to be the most efficient as possible. and then our operators grab those parts and make the units with very, very precise instructions.
And you oversee all of that to get this amazing product off the assembly line and over to logistics. And speaking of logistics, that's where we're going next. Follow me. Well, now that we've seen all of the things that go into making a Daikin unit, all of the people that have a hand in putting it all together, what better place to end up than with Billy Shipley, Senior Vice President of Finance and Logistics. You are in charge of getting all of this product out the door, getting it around the world where it's supposed to go. How do you handle such a massive undertaking?
Well, it's obviously a challenge, right? But we have just the best technology team, our warehouse management system. We track product basically from every touch point, scanning barcodes. So it's really a matter of managing all of that data and all of the warehouse movement.
So a finished product comes off the line. It's then boxed up, it's shrink wrapped, and it goes into this area. How do you prioritize what gets shipped where and when?
I'll oversimplify a bit, but in essence, there's three options when a box comes off the end of the line. If we have a truck sitting at a dock that's ready for that product, we want to minimize handling, so we'll put that box directly on the truck. That's obviously the best option. Another option is if that box is going to ship within 24 hours, we have a staging area along the dock doors, so it'll be ready to go on the truck as soon as that truck is available. The third option is to replenish our warehouse here at DTTP, so we would go move it to the proper location.
You oversee two very important departments, finance and logistics. How do the two coincide?
Well, obviously, we're here to make money, right? And we're here to provide a valuable product at the right place at the right time. So obviously shipping it out the door, that is our sales recognition is when it leaves the dock. So that's where we bring it all together. Taking a step back, so DTTP, this is a little over $500 million investment that Daikin purchased Goodman in 2013. Around 2015, they made this investment. It was a huge show of confidence in our plan and our people. And they remind us all the time, right, how much they've invested in us, and we're excited to return on that investment.
Now, this is literally a city unto itself, skyscrapers of boxes, so to speak. How do you keep track of everything and know exactly where and when something is going to be where it's supposed to be?
So it all comes down to our people. And the training tools we have and really the employee engagement we have, we overemphasize the importance of our inventory accuracy. We maintain 98% inventory accuracy in our warehouse. And again, you can have the best systems in the world, but unless your people execute and deliver, it's going to fall apart. So we really rely on that.
Well, it's all about people here at Daikin, from the training to the culture to the camaraderie. What is the most prideful moment that you have when you see that box come off the end of the line and it ends up on a truck and you've had a major portion of that getting it out the door? How do you feel at that moment?
We ship roughly 5 million units a year out of this building. In North America, we have the benefit of air conditioning in almost all of our places. So it's a big deal. I mean, it's important for all of our families to have comfortable, clean air. So I think executing that and providing a value and a benefit to our society is great.
Billy, thanks so much. Great information there. Well, this is the end of our DTTP tour. I'm Art Edmonds, and guess what? It's time for me to ship out.